All right, everyone, I just pulled our next project into the shop. It's this car right behind me, another BMW E60. This is a 2010 BMW 535i in Titan Silver, riding on 18-inch wheels all the way around. It's equipped with a black leather interior and sunroof. Powered by the N54 twin turbocharged inline 6-cylinder engine, producing approximately 300 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque. Backed by a 6-speed ZF automatic transmission and is in the rear-wheel drive configuration.
Let's take a closer look at this E60's issues on Rebuild Revival.
All right, so I did buy this car quite some time ago, and when I first bought it, it would not move. It would start, it just wouldn't drive. And I noticed a lot of fluid around the transmission pan, so I figured there was a leak, filled it with tranny fluid, and then I was able to drive this thing. So I did drive this into the shop, so it does run and drive at the moment. Now let's just go around and look at all of the other issues it has. First, let's just start with the exterior. We'll start up here on the driver's side. The tires actually look really good on this. They're probably maybe 60–70% or better, so that's really good. Michelin's. And the brake rotors, they don't really have any lips on them, so that's good. And the brake pads, I don't know if you guys can see in there, but the brake pads are actually really thick, so brakes are good, tires are good. And this wheel is decent. Not a lot of curb rash, some. That blinker is very faded. Got some damage down here on the lower lip. A little damage here. And then these headlights. I've noticed that some other people are talking about this. The inner piece comes unglued and falls off. So one of the things that we're gonna do is remove the lens, actually replace this lens, and hopefully be able to repair that part of the light on the inside. Crack in the bumper right there. Got a little mark here on the bumper. Some of this will come out with polishing. This headlight, same thing. That little piece fell off on the inside. We've got a parking sensor missing here. We've got some damage there on the bumper and a whole lot of damage down here. These fog lights I can just sand down and refinish, so that's what I'll do with these. Hood looks good. No issues with the hood. This rubber piece here we can replace. So we'll do that. Everything looks good on the door. Mirror looks good. This has some damage here. Obviously scraping into some stuff. So we'll have to see about that. Coming around here to the back door. That door looks fine. The roof looks good. The paint is good on the roof, so that's good. This rubber we can replace. This whole thing. All right, now coming down here to the quarter panel, we've got some damage here. Maybe we could do a little bit of PDR. I mean, I know it needs paint, but I may be able to pop this out and just make it look better. We'll see. Tires again back here are really good. I think they're all matching, which is nice, Michelin's. This wheel does not look great. I don't really want to get into refinishing these. It's just going to take too much time and it's not worth it on this car. So I don't know, we'll see. Brakes good, tires good, wheels not so much. So this bumper's got some damage on it as well. Little damage there. There's a crack here in the bumper. That's not good. Trunk is good. All right, coming around here to the passenger side, this rear wheel does not look great. Some of these marks will come off. We could get it looking better, but yeah, not great on this wheel. This rocker cover is loose. I think we could clip that back on, but it does have some damage. Not as much as the other side, I don't think. Passenger doors look fine. Again, these marker lights, they're actually blinkers too, are super faded. You could get replacement ones for pretty cheap, so we'll probably do those. The rocker cover is also loose up here. It definitely hit some stuff with this rocker cover. You can see a lot of paint missing there. This is kind of hard to see when you are up top. That looks like this door was repainted at some point. We'll have to look into that. A little bit of damage here along the bottom of the door. This wheel, not looking great. Lots of curb rash here. All right, looking inside here, there doesn't seem to be too much damage anywhere. None of the airbags, the seats aren't ripped. Carpets look pretty good. Headliner looks really good as well. It's not sagging anywhere. None of the trim pieces are sagging either. A couple of fingerprints over on that A-pillar trim. And a little missing trim piece on maybe an ashtray or whatever that is down there. Not a big deal. So interior overall is in pretty good shape. Just need a deep clean. All right, in the back seat here, again, no real damage on the door panels or anything. Seats look really good. Lots of water and trash, but stain there on the carpet, we can get that out. Yeah, so just need a good detail and we should be good in here. Here's the trunk. Everything's fine in the trunk, just very dirty. Lots of water. This person had tons of water and a candle. More water. Hey, we got the spare and the jack. All right, going to take a look in the engine bay, and the hood struts will not stay up, so we will need to replace those. All right, taking a look here at the engine. Doesn't look like anything is missing, so that's a good sign. Got a couple of bolts missing out of this cover, so somebody has been underneath here. Hood insulation in good shape. Cowl cover is actually in decent shape. It's not great, but we'll probably just reuse that. Got some leaves and stuff, so definitely need a deep clean in here. There was some smoke coming out of the exhaust, and then I took a look in here, and the intake tubes are pretty oily, so the crankcase ventilation system probably needs to be replaced. So we'll look into that. Also, when the engine was running, there was some smoke coming out of here as well. And if you look down there, that metal plate was full of oil. It must have burned off when I was running it, but that did have some oil in it. So there's probably an oil leak, most likely the valve cover gasket. So we'll have to look into that as well. Okay, looking underneath the car here, one huge thing I noticed is this sway bar mount is broken off, and the subframe is a little bit dented right here. You can see here, this one is welded on right there. So we're gonna have to fabricate another one, weld it on, and up here is actually a bolt hole, and there is a bolt snapped off in there, so we'll have to get that out. I do see a couple of new parts here. This front control arm seems to be new. This one also seems to be new. You can see it's the only clean one, so that's a good thing. This sway bar end link on this side seems to be new, so that's good. The oil pan looks pretty dry. There's a little bit of oil here, but I think this is probably coming from the transmission, as the bottom of the transmission oil pan is soaked. This is all wet. From what I remember, I think this drain plug was leaking. I don't know if it is now. It's pretty wet all over it, but I didn't clean it off. So we'll just go ahead and replace the pan, the filter, and the gasket. All right, as we work our way back, nothing too interesting, very dirty. There is a hole in, this is either resonator, muffler, something like that. So we got a small little hole in that. Rear suspension looks fine. The rear diff looks fine. Rear sway bar looks fine. So everything looks all right back here. All right, so I'm gonna start it up for you all. This only has 66,000 miles, so I don't think there's gonna be any major issues, except for that sway bar mounting bracket. This running light is working. This one is not. Hopefully we can get that one to work. There is some smoke. That's also condensation, but you could tell it's not just condensation, it's also smoke. Let's see what happens when I give it a little throttle. So I did already pull this cap off the oil filter just to see what the oil looked like inside. It's very black, but it's not milky. So I don't think there's any coolant getting into the oil. And I also checked the coolant to see if there was any oil getting into the coolant, and there's not. So I think this has had a bad crankcase vent for a long time. The plugs may be a little bit fouled. I think there is a ton of oil throughout the intake and throughout the exhaust. See there, 66,000 miles. Idle is dead on. It's not fluctuating at all. Yes, we've got low pressure, okay. Vehicle info, vehicle status, engine oil level, good. Service required, engine oil, due for an oil change. We've got navigation on this, external devices, aux, and we've got USB. And it will go in and out of gear. There's reverse, drive, park. Turn those off. We've got the dual climate, AC is cold, seat heaters working. So let's go ahead and shut this down. All right, everyone, that's gonna do it for today's video. We went over all of the issues with this new Flip, and next time we'll jump right into some of the mechanical repairs to get this E60 running how it should. So thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next video.